Welcome back, Tarnished, to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about one of Elden Ring's creepiest bosses, the cat boss. Now, if you've ever been brave enough to go down to one of the catacombs and come face to face with its strangest boss, known as the Erdtree Burial Watchdog, or a giant stone cat, there's just one problem. It isn't a cat at all. According to the game itself, it's known as a watchdog, but this is where the mystery begins. Like me, when you first met this boss, you found it quite unsettling. It didn't move like a normal enemy, it glided along the floor. It stood upright like a statue until it decided to leap up into the air and land on you with incredible force. Every movement this boss made was stiff, robotic and unnatural, and that's all because it wasn't actually a living creature at all. It's a stone construct, a guardian that's been around for centuries, even the earliest days of the Erdtree itself, and that's because it's protecting something. Now, not treasure, but the dead. Every catacomb in Elden Ring was built around the roots of the Erdtree. Now, under the Golden Order, those worthy of an Erdtree burial would return to the Erdtree via the roots, this completing the cycle of life and death itself in the lands between. Now, the watchdogs were created to protect this. So that means every time that you enter into a catacomb and decide to kill one of them, Tarnished, I'm afraid you're technically a grave robber. And it's quite sad because it does mean that actually the watchdog is literally doing what it was created to do. But here's where things get more interesting. The Burial Watchdog isn't working alone. Its weapon description tells us that this stone guardian is actually controlling the imps that are scattered throughout the catacombs. So those lovely little creatures that are jumping off of the walls and falling down from the ceiling and pretty much decimating us through that catacomb are not working independently. They are following the instructions from the stone guardian. So in other words, this is not just another boss behind a fog wall. No, this is actually the warden to the entire dungeon, and everything you fought on your way there has been under its command. If you manage to obtain the watchdog's greatsword, you will discover fascinating detail. Now, the sword once had a carved eye into it, but the description tells us that long ago grave robbers had stole the people from the sword, leaving it nothing more than a clump of stone. Now, why would the grave robber steal just the eye and not the entire sword? Well, implication tells me that it's the eye that possesses the magical significance. Maybe it powered the guardian, maybe it symbolised some ability to watch over the dead, maybe it's some forgotten ancient magic. But in good old Elden Ring fashion, they never tell us. Now, the watchdog staff tells us something different. Tells us that the guardians have become battered and broken through centuries of service. Not decades, yes, centuries. Now imagine never eating, sleeping, moving, speaking, anything for centuries, just standing post, doing your duty, despite the fact that everything that you were created for has collapsed. So after the night of the black knives and the spread of death rot, the natural cycle of death is no more. Those ancient burial rites have become corrupted, but yet those watchdogs have never stopped. They're still protecting the tombs, they're still commanding the imps, they're still protecting those burials that are no longer functioning as intended. In my opinion, it's got to be one of the saddest Elden Ring stories there. But that seems to be the theme across Elden Ring, right? Soldiers defend fallen kingdoms, knights defend dead kings, and watchdogs still protect the dead. Now, us Tarnished call it a cat, but the game insists it's a dog. But this seems intentional that they have done this with its cat-like appearance, but yet calling it a dog. That's okay, because they're not designed to resemble real animals. It's a stone guardian that was brought to life through ancient magic that's now long forgotten. Like I said before, they're robotic in their movement. They don't move like a normal creature. And that's why maybe when defeating one, it doesn't necessarily feel like you've defeated an enemy. It more feels like you've just shut down a mechanical machine that's been set in place to protect the dead for centuries. So in my opinion, the Erdtree Burial Watchdog isn't actually evil. It's just doing its job, and it stayed loyal for centuries. So I do feel a little bad, but it was worth the fight. I didn't do very well, but I got there thanks to my wolves. So I hope you've enjoyed this little short video on the Erdtree Burial Watchdog Tarnished, and I look forward to giving you more short stories on some of our smaller bosses.